We're going to be taking a look at Euro USD. So let's take a look at that now, right? And I did end up getting into Euro USD last night, right? And I'll discuss this in a little while. Um, but before we do that, I want to discuss, you know, why it's so important again to understand the direction, right? Um, I've used the analogy before of snipe traders, all right? Everybody wants to be a snipe trader. Everybody wants to have a sniper entry. You look like you're literally entering the trade in the most aggressive of areas, right? The trade goes up and it looks like you entered right here, right? Now, don't get me wrong. While that looks cool, right? While this entering right here for cells looks cool, I want you to tell me, right? I want you to honestly tell me, or what about all of this bull momentum told you to sell? Was it an indicator? If it was an indicator, then you guessed. Was it the fact that you just guessed? If that's the case, then you aren't trading, right? And if you aren't trading, then is this worth your money? Is it worth your time? Is it worth your effort, your risk, your pips? It's not. All right. No. If you had a good reason to sell here because there was rejection off of this point or whatever, and you saw it going down based off of rejection off of a previous zone, then absolutely, absolutely, by all means, you sell that, right? By absolutely, right? Now, a lot of the time that's not the case, because in order for you to be able to see rejection, you would have to actually sell this somewhere down here, because you don't get to see rejection until the wick is actually formed, and the wick wouldn't form and you still allowed to enter where the wick has been already, right? As you know, the wick of a candle would oftentimes look like this. The candle will be a big box, right? And then the wick would be up here. If you enter on the close of the candle, which is where you should enter based on rejection, how are you going to enter at the peak of the wick? So everybody wants to be a snipe trader. Everybody wants to have this really cool sniper looking entry, but with no context, right? And it's so weird because what really, caused you to want to enter where you entered? What really caused you to want to sell where you sold? Probably you guessed. And that listen, in this industry, we don't guess. You understand? Or I should say, the people who operate within my space, we don't guess. We are in the business of taking high probability setups, right? That have a very high possibility of doing what we want. And how do we do that? It's very simple. By literally utilizing facts. We utilize facts, right? What are some facts? What are some facts that we can utilize? What are some facts that we can see? Euro USD is in obvious bear momentum. What is bear momentum, right? In layman's terms, or in the most basic of explanations, Euro USD go down, right? I can't make it any simpler than that, right? I want you to be very understanding of something right here, right now. The market will not just reverse just like that, right? If it just reverses just like that, it's definitely manipulation. The dealer is manipulating the market, right? I like to use the law of inertia, right? It's a natural law of the universe. The law of inertia says that objects in motion tend to stay in motion, while objects at rest tend to stay at rest, right? The market operates in a similar fashion. Obviously, the market doesn't have mass per se, right? Because it's not necessarily a physical thing, but the market, if it's in motion, it's a very high chance that it's going to stay in motion. If it's at rest, it's a high chance it's going to stay at rest. As we know, the market only has two states: consolidation and momentum. It's either the market is either consolidating or moving. It can't do anything else. Reversals count as a move. The market is not going to reverse, as I said, without manipulation happening. Why? because the dealer wants to manipulate what you thought you were seeing based on the previous move, right? So that he can use that against you. The question is, are you seeing manipulation in the current movement? If not, follow it. It's that simple. That being said, is there a trend on EU? Is there a trend on EU? Can we say that is this the trend? Is this the trend? Maybe. But the thing is, right, this would be in hindsight. This would be now. Remember, this would have literally just happened. This is literally real time. This would have just happened. I'm talking about I would have sold, and I'll show you why I sold just now. I'm talking about where I would have sold, right? A trend would not have even been created yet, because as you know, a trend obviously is 3 points or 3 taps to one area or 3 taps to one line. So in where I sold, and I'll show you shortly, the trend wasn't even apparent yet, right? So now if you see your USD wants to try to maybe reverse, I might consider, because obviously now there's a trend being formed. But prior to that, where I'm going to show you, right? So let me go. I'll go to the replay function and we will do this, right? Let's go on the 1 minute time frame and let's discuss. Obviously, we know that Euro USD is in bear momentum, so therefore we should be looking for a bearish ECR, which is my signature setup, right? So right now, price is still in bear momentum. It's now in bull momentum because the moving averages have crossed up. So we wait and we wait and we wait and we wait and we wait, and we just don't do anything until, you know, your USD gives you the opportunity to do what you want it to do. So now it looks like it's going to cross, and then boom, right there. That's all. That's all I'm waiting for. The fact that I already know that your USD is bearish, right? Notice again, trend line, nothing happening here. This is what I'm waiting for. Nothing is happening here by virtue of a trend, right? What is it that you draw a trend line from here to here? Is it that you draw this? That's not enough information for me to base a trend off of. So I'm not selling a trend line per se. I'm selling because I'm seeing the momentum of the previous day, right? So what I do, it's very simple. I see my ECR, my bearish ECR, and I decide, all right, cool. I might try to sell it right here. You know what? Maybe a little higher, sell it a little higher. With my 10 pip stop loss, as per usual, all right, as per usual, and then that is your 10 pip stop loss right there. And let's see what happens. Obviously, this is not my take profit. I hold it for as long as I can. Let's see what happens. And Euro USD decides to do its thing, right? At some point, it would come back against my entry, but that's the beauty of the 10 pip stop loss. The beauty of the 10 pip stop loss is if you are absolutely certain of the direction, allow your trade to breathe. It would have come back against me, give or take about 6 pips, give or take, and then watch what happened. It literally, quite literally, just went to the floor, right? Never to come back. Never to come back. Just by, again, simply by understanding direction. Simply by understanding the direction, right? You understand direction, my friends, you get a better understanding of how easy an entry is. And if you notice, this has nothing to do with a sniper entry or a sniper trade or anything along those lines. I'm not doing that. That's not what we're doing here at all. I'm not trying to, enter for the best potential, have the best potential entry at the highest potential point. I am simply using factual data. All right. I'm doing what my job description says I am, a technical analyzer or a technical analyst, right? And using data, fact that I can base further information or base further action on. That's it. And because of that, in light of that, I'm able to not only use the previous direction, but a very simple entry technique to yield over 70 pips in my sleep. You all see that? Very easy. And you can see here that this is 70 pips that I didn't even think that I would have gotten, but it is what it is, right? So it's that easy to let me not say easy, it's that simple to actually yield profits from this industry. You just need to use your brain. So I hope that this made some sense to you in regards to why I would have sold EU. Y'all remember that loss that I took on USD CHF for buys earlier this week? That 10 pip stop loss that I took? This 70 pip take profit would essentially wipe that loss clean out of my history. And barring that, it's not that I was wrong about the direction again when I bought it here. Y'all remember that? I posted this, I spoke about this. I thought that I had the direction wrong. In theory, I had it absolutely correct. Right place, wrong time. Or I should say, wrong place, wrong time, sorry, right? But right direction, right? It is what it is. Yeah? Would it be better to wait for an EMA touch or should it be a trade? No, I keep telling you all, the moving averages do not need to touch, right? Price don't need to touch your moving average, or your moving average don't need to touch price. If you use different moving averages, what is going to happen? You're going to realize that sometimes price touches some, sometimes price doesn't touch some. And you're gonna realize that, if it is you sit there waiting every single time for price to touch a moving average, there are going to be many opportunities that you miss. All right, daily there are going to be many opportunities that you miss. Sometimes it just works like that. If price is in enough momentum, trust me, price will never touch that moving average. Look at classic example right here. Classic example. Price never, up to now, literally in the last 12 plus hours, price has not touched this moving average. So stop thinking that price has to tap the EMA. It does not. You understand? What about on EU? Did price touch the EMA on EU? Literally, over in the last 12 hours, price has not touched that moving average. Yeah? What y'all think? Nice. Do we have any questions? I have a short session today because, I have a busy day. I have quite a few classes to do today. What is your basis to know the direction of the market? I literally just said what the basis is. Like I quite literally just explained it, right? You can use visual cues, right, to figure out the direction, right? The size of the candles, right? The color of the candles. It's very simple, right? We try to make we try to make this so overcomplicated that actually causes problems for us, right? You'll realize that I literally live my truth in that I say that, you keep it stupid simple. You'll realize that essentially what I'm doing is a baby could do this. A 3-year-old, a 5-year-old could do this. Oh, it's going down, goo goo gaga. Okay, press sell. That's all, That's literally all. Oh, it's going down. No, obviously it's going down. So you have to look for an entry. You can't just go jump in all willy-nilly, but you have to use a good entry technique. But I digress. It's going down and it doesn't show a sign that it's going to reverse. By virtue, you're not seeing price hitting a specific area, rejecting a specific area, creating an M, creating a W. Why are you going to try to go against it? Why? I saw somebody ask yesterday, can we buy GU now? That's a classic question. They asked that when GU is literally, I shit you not, GBP USD was literally right here, right? They asked that. I'll see if I can find it back, right? But this is what GBP USD looked like, right? So they had this, right? And that's what GBP USD looked like. And somebody asked in one of the group chats, okay, can we buy GBP USD now? And my response was, yeah, absolutely. If you want to lose money, go ahead. By all means, you do what you have to do. Absolutely. Right? Because guess what? Guess what? What did GBP USD do after that? It never came back to that area. GBP USD from this area, right? From this area, GBP USD fell a whopping 120 pips from this area. You know what? Anybody who bought GBP USD from this area, what would have happened? You'd be 120 pips in drawdown. Or worst case scenario, you'd be margin call because you studying to go against the momentum. You seeing one big candle with no signs of rejection, no signs of a reversal from this area, because again, there's no real trend to say that this is a reversal. And then you're going to try to trade it for a reversal. You're going to try to go against that. This is literally the equivalent, right? I mean this. This is literally the equivalent, right, of literally standing in front of a fire truck, blaring, sirens screaming, coming down the road, and you thinking that that fire truck is going to stop as soon as it reaches within 1 foot of your body. We both know that the fire truck is not going to stop. It's probably on its way to put out a fire. So they have to go at full speed with the sirens blaring, the lights on and everything, the whole shebang, and they're going to literally lick down anything in their path. Obviously, that's not how fire trucks work, but why would you stand in the way of a fire truck on its way to a destination? And it's so uncanny that this candle is red, just like a fire truck. Why would you stand in its way or try to say, you know what, I'm going to stand in the fire truck's way and put my hand out and say, stop, fire truck. You cannot pass. Go the other way. Let's be honest. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. The fire truck, you in a battle between you versus a fire truck, the fire truck will always win. I guarantee you that. Unless you are the person driving the fire truck, if you're standing in the way of a fire truck, trust me, you versus fire truck, the fire truck always wins. In a game of rock, paper, fire truck, trust me, fire truck beating everything. Everything. Yes or no?